Well, I'm Richard Ralphs. I'm UK account manager with Redbox Recorders. You'll see another name up there, Darren Welsh, that's splashed up before. Darren's our pre-sales technical consultant. He's not here at the moment. I find in Redbox the number of technical people I have around me is inversely proportional to the amount of food that I have, so he will be around at lunchtime to answer any questions you've got that I can't answer today, but I should be able to answer everything for you. What I'm going to just take you through is a few topics that are pertinent. First of all, just look at recording, why people are recording, the types of recording that we're doing at the moment, particularly around flexible working. So we're looking at mobile devices, it might be VoIP channels, SIP channels, it might be link, those kind of things, all hot topics at the moment. Give you some live demonstrations of that working as well. Also look at quality management, taking the next step with your call recordings. I see some people have call centre working in their business. Has anybody got call centre working yet?
Yes.
A few guys, okay. So it's particularly relevant to you guys. It's a tool that's used day in, day out in the call centre. And then a bit of a sort of fist bang at the end. I've got speech analytics, which we've just developed and dropped into our recorder. So I'm going to show you that. It's not out on the market yet, but it's a phonetic search, so you can look at any words and phrases that you want to find on your recorders from any of those recording platforms, whether they're mobile devices, link calls, whatever. You can phonetically search for the types of words and phrases to find the specific calls you want. So a little bit about Redbox Recorders first of all. We're not just here because we're buying a system of Britannic and they're installing it at the moment. I was listening to Lisa talking about all the changes that are going on. I think we're on our second VoIP system at Redbox, so we've gone through lots of changes and we're just now installing another, well, a new Mitel system at new premises. We've definitely changed these devices. I've gone BlackBerry, Apple, and now I'm back on BlackBerry because it's my preferred method of connecting with people. And we're also changing our unified communications tool from Link to the Mitel version at the moment. So it's incredible the amount of change that's going on. And we've seen that in the recording platforms as well, that we're coming across, having to be really flexible about what we can fit into our servers and our virtual servers that we're putting out in the market. So we've been around for around sort of 20 years in the call recording market. We were previously selling our solutions through third parties like RACAL, THALES NICE. Sold about 100,000 units of that through those guys, but we all sat in the background doing our development. And about 8 years ago we brought out a VoIP and a SIP recorder, and we brought the Redbox brand out into the market, and that's why we're an emerging, challenging brand to a lot of the established systems out there. We've key partnerships with the likes of Mitel, so we're their preferred choice for recording, as well as our partners like Britannic, who take our product to market, and RIM and Apple and all those guys who we record from to get our solution there. But the key there is that we have to be innovative for our clients, to show them new products, show them new innovative ways of getting benefit from the recordings. So we have a big old client base out there now that we've built up over the last few years. We do 55% now. It says 40 up there, but we've brought on Devon and Cornwall and South Wales Police since I last presented these slides. So we're growing our market, and especially what we're seeing is that we're dealing with lots of different modes of recording. So is everybody got VoIP working in their offices now? Yeah, most people running VoIP. We come across all sorts with these guys. We've got analog systems, we've got digital systems, we're recording ISDN, we're recording VoIP, we're recording SIP, and more lately we're recording link as well. So for us we have to be super flexible. As well as that, on our platforms you have to be flexible as well. So there's a lot of you guys using VMware at the moment to virtualize your servers. Yeah, see lots of nods. That's the same with us. We have to be able to virtualize our recorder too in all these platforms. So then you can move our products into the cloud, into the data center. Okay. So all of our solutions that we provide them either as hosted, fully managed services where you share the recorder with other users, and we partition the recorder off for you, like we do for our mobile service, or we can provide that as on-premise equipment. It's totally up to you at the end of the day. We just work however you want to. We're flexible in that way. So looking at the flexible recording that we're doing at the moment, there are as Lisa pointed out, there's sort of 3 key areas that we have to consider. One is mobility within an estate. So this is your hot desk users. So this is us going and logging into different parts around the building or different buildings around a whole estate that you might manage. So how do we track that person? How do we record them? How do we know that we need to record them? So we have to track those. Then we've got remote workers, so people who work from home or occasionally work from home. How do we record those guys? And then we've got all our mobile workers, so all our BlackBerry devices, Apple devices. How are we going to integrate those into our recording platform? So I'm going to go through all those for you. The key element for us is at Redbox is it's just audio connectivity. It's just another method of connecting as far as we're concerned. Once we've got that audio, we then do lots of great things with it to get some benefit from capturing it. So we do the search and replay is the core of our application. So fortunately for a guy like me, it's nice to have one product to remember, which is Quantify. Okay, so that's our core product. Then we have the search and replay and live monitor. So once you've got your calls, you want to find your mobile calls, you want to find your text messages, you want to find your calls from your extension. So you do that all through search and replay and live monitor. And then we've got things like quality management in your contact center. You need to run those sorts of things. So we'll go on and talk about that. You need to evaluate agents. And screen recording too. You want to record what's going on someone's PC while they're actually talking on the handset. So we can link those two together in an interaction. I don't know if any of you guys have to take payments and are worried about PCI data security standard.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a bit of a minefield, to be honest. And the way we work with it or help you comply with it is by not recording any of that card detail whatsoever. So we stop and start recording whenever you're taking payments, and we do that automatically, so nothing is captured. Okay, so you've got no data stored whatsoever on your recorder about card payments. Okay, so then if anybody gets into your recorder, which they should never be able to do, they wouldn't hear any card payments whatsoever, so they wouldn't be able to take them out of the system. And then we have some tertiary products like call management, event reconstruct, specific to certain niches, and then the audio analytics, which is brand new to us, which is the phonetic search, which I'm hopefully going to show you, all right? And the mobile recording. So, mobile recording, is anybody doing it at the moment? No, okay, it is fairly new, okay, so a lot of people didn't even know it was possible. So it really came out because of what's going on out there in the city. On November the 11th, 2011, the Financial Services Authority said that all of the mobile calls from traders had to be recorded. Now there's around sort of 25,000 mobiles out there that all of a sudden needed to be recorded. So it was kind of a bit of a mad scramble that we kind of knew was coming, but we thought the deadline would get knocked back as it had been in the past. But then they put their foot down and said, no, they've all got to be recorded. So we developed an application for them which could integrate with their existing recorders, because we're already recording all their trading turrets that are out in the city that you'll see if you see them, you know, when they're doing interviews on the like the web, on the BBC, you see them all in the background shouting and hollering in the background. We're all recording that already, so it's just adding these devices in for us. But that then spilled out into other industries, like credit licensing agencies and Solicitors Regulatory Authority are reviewing mobile recording at the moment, and whether they should record their advice that they're giving to their clients too. And then equally, whenever we're talking on the telephone and we're dealing with a customer, maybe someone's got an issue they want us to deal with, or we're talking about a contract or what have you, we want to record those calls as well, because we might later need that evidence to support what we've been talking about. And especially if everything goes wrong, you know, for business continuity purposes, if we ever have to fall back onto these devices, then we're going to need to record them in those instances as well. Right, so there's a building demand for the mobile recording. So how do we go about it? There is actually, I've put 2 methods up here. There's probably a third method that's worth mentioning. I'll go through these 2 first of all. First of all, there's the conferencing-based method, which is used for BlackBerrys, and then you've got call, store and forward. Okay? And this is used for Android devices and Windows mobile devices. The third, obviously, the missing ingredient there is your iPhone. Okay? Now, iPhone is a bit of a devil to work with, as probably most of you know. They don't like us fiddling with their phones and their lovely curved technology. All right, so the way we have to work with the iPhone is to actually change the SIM in the card and then route the call through a service provider. Okay, so it's very difficult how we do that, but it is the only way to record the iPhone at the moment. So the store and forward, very straightforward. Whenever you make a call with your device, what happens is a file is recorded on your phone. It's kept in a secret location, it's encrypted, it's compressed, and when your data network is available, it's forwarded onto your call recorder, okay, over your data network. And it's then searchable within your call recorder. And the same with your text. So if you send a text from your mobile and you're recording your mobile, then it's going to build that file on your device, create the file, compress it, and then forward it when the data network's available, or your Wi-Fi is available if you just want it to work via Wi-Fi. So that's fairly straightforward. What's everybody using? Is everyone using Apple? Android? Yeah, a bit of Android. BlackBerry, was it? Blackberries. So a bit of everything. Anybody got a mixture of everything? Yes, okay. So there might be a myriad of solutions that you need to record these devices. The good thing is you can deploy them all, and they'll all come back to the same recorder. Right. With the conference-based solution, it works slightly differently in that when you're going to record that call, it actually conferences in the recorder. Okay, so it calls up a DDI, and that recorder can be sat absolutely anywhere. It could be sat in a data center in the cloud somewhere, it could be sat at your premises, it could be one that we host, as we do host them for our clients. It'll conference in that recorder, and then it will link the two parties together, and the call will be recorded. Same with it, this method for texting, exactly the same. So when you're creating a text, it's going to store a file and then forward the file over the data network. Right, so I was just going to go through QMR, as they both work fairly similarly. So as we've said, this is all developed with RIM, and in a partnership with them and us. We all got together to design the solution and develop the little app that sits on the phone. And it just creates a DDI in the phone, one or more DDIs for resilience in case it can't get the first recorder, and then it will keep calling up the other recorders to build up that conference. So pretty straightforward. Once you've got it, you can then have a look at the calls. So I've got all my mobile phone calls here, all my texts to my wife, the whole lot, the whole shebang's on there. And you've got all my SMSs as well. And the good thing about the SMS is it'll actually replay in text-to-speech as well, so you can find them. But all the text becomes searchable as well then for you. So looking at the sort of outbound call flow, it's fairly straightforward. When you make a call, it stores up your number on your phone, so here's your 0208 number. It'll then hold that in its memory, dial up your recorder wherever that's sat, in its data network or in the cloud if it's hosted by us or on your premises. And then once it's established that connection, it makes the second call through to the actual party that you want to reach, and then joins the two together. On the inbound side, when you're making that call, obviously someone calls you up, it then gets a tone. If it's 02, you'll get Vodafone, your call is on hold if you've deployed this, or Orange, you can send it back a ringtone to say your call is being recorded. And it'll then make the call to the recorder and join those two parties up. Fairly straightforward. This is what it looks like when you're actually doing it. Normally I'll connect a phone up, but I've got so much to talk about. I'm just going to show you some screenshots here. So I'm phoning my home number. It'll dial the DDI in the network. There's Bonnie. Put my original call to the data center on hold. Join the two parties together in a second, and then away you go. You're recording. But as we kind of mentioned at the start, it's pretty rare that it's just mobile recording that we deploy. There's always some other thing that we've got to record. It might be agents in a contact centre, it might be teleworkers like myself. And the way we do that is using this device called a Mitel Secure Recording Connector. Basically what this does is creates a stream or a dual media stream for all the handsets that we want to record, and it feeds it to our recorder, no matter where those people are. So if you're a remote worker like I am, and I'm at home and someone sees that I'm available and they want to call me, I pick up my Mitel handset, and then it knows that I've got to be recorded. It will send that audio stream to our recorder, no matter where I am. Okay. Same with hot desk users when I log in. Whenever I log in at our office across the road, or whether I'm up in Nottingham, once I log in, it knows that's my phone, it knows it's to be recorded. The SRC stream then comes down to our recorder as well. This is the key unit. Wherever we've got the mobiles, they'll be making their calls, they'll be conferenced in, they'll be conferenced into the recorder, all on the same unit. and then you go away and you search for them all. So that's the sort of on-premise solution. Hosted solution gets a little bit more complicated. This is one that Britannic, you guys have seen into favour this solution at the moment and deploying it quite a lot at the moment for clients, whereby the recorders and the controllers and all the SRC elements sit up in the cloud, in the data centres. Two data centres working in an active mode, so both available, both load balancing all these users. And you can have multiple levels of resiliency here. It's totally up to you where you put the resiliency. You can have multiple controllers, multiple SRCs, multiple recorders like we've got here, and then should anything fail, obviously it fails over to its secondary resource. And again, that will be recorded all sorts of different people, agents, teleworkers, mobiles, all in the same box. Okay, so that's mobile phone. Is that all fairly standard? Yeah, everyone gets that? Yeah. We'll go on to the quality monitoring now. So those of you who've got the contact centre, this will be particularly pertinent. So the main reasons why people are deploying QM once they've got the recordings, there's loads of reasons. I mean, this is just a conversation I had with Marston's, the brewery. I seem to get most of my quotes from them, to be perfectly honest. They're the best one to go and visit, get a factory tour at the same time. But there's some really great stories behind why they deployed it, because they weren't doing anything before this. They had spreadsheets that they were filling out when they were listening to calls. So what they wanted to do, they wanted to just improve the process really, build up some metrics for the individuals within their call centre to see how they were working, how were they performing, were they actually dealing with inquiries in the right way. They had 3 or 4 distributed contact centres, so one person was having to drive around all the different sites to do the evaluation. It was really an efficient system. So we went in and they found all these benefits to put in the system in. So they've now got some metrics on how they're actually performing in their contact centre, which is vital for those guys. So what they actually found was that the agents actually quite liked the policy of putting this in. We thought we were going to get a lot of negative comments about putting it in, but what we found was they really didn't like being observed. They didn't like having people sat next to them listening to their calls. Didn't give a great reflection of how the calls were actually going on a day-to-day basis, because someone was there listening to them. Just saying, if my boss was here listening to me today, I'm sure I'd be giving a different presentation, a more nerve-wracking presentation. But yeah, so they're given a totally different feel to how the business is working day to day. So they're getting a really good spread of calls across all their different methods of handling calls. And then they had a standard which they distributed across all their sites. So all their different sites, everyone knew what they had to do. Everyone knew the processes they had to follow, and then they knew the training that they had to follow if they couldn't adhere to those processes. As far as the management or the bosses were concerned, it's great for them because they could set the standard for all the sites. So they could say what was expected of everybody and change that policy as it needed to be. Also, they were saving a massive amount of time, as you'll see on the ROI. Instead of having people driving around, sitting next to people, listening to people, they could do it when they wanted to. And at the end of the day, the customers were getting a better service. So they were getting better outcomes. We could start to measure the types of outcomes they were getting. Were they getting first call resolution? Were those calls handled first time, or people having to call back? And we could monitor all that. So this is the kind of ROI for Marston's and what they did. They gained a massive amount of benefit from the monitoring productivity by saving those people wandering around every day. So I'll give you a quick look at it, and then I'll show you the speech analytics, and then we're running a bit over, so I'll go as fast as I can with this. So I'm logged into, it's got a good demonstration of how the cloud works as well, because this is sat in our data center. I think this one's over at Exchange House. So I'm just going to bring up some recordings and just quickly show you the QM element of the product. Now if I wanted to look for any of my mobile recordings, I could just quickly pop my mobile number in and it would find all my mobile calls, and they would appear all down here. Yeah. If I want to play them, I click play. If I want to do any evaluations at any time, we can deliver a schedule to the agents and the supervisors, so they've got all the calls that they want. But if I'm just going to quickly ad hoc QM this call, so what it's going to bring up is an evaluation form for the supervisor to look at, which is the standard you'd expect for a particular call. Then it's going to play the call as well. Okay, so it knows who I am, it knows I'm evaluating this call. It's got the call at the bottom of the screen here. Okay, starts playing it. And then you start your evaluation. Okay, so you then start scoring the call. So in the contact centre, they'll be scoring each individual, and they'll start answering the questions. They can drop information into this evaluation as well, so they can drop in bookmarks. Shut this guy up. So you can add in bookmarks, comments about how well they've performed. And once you've gathered all that information, what you can then do is obviously run all your reports to see how well they've performed. All right, and then start building up your metrics and handing those around the business. There are a stack of reports in there. We're running over, so I'm not going to go through too many of them now. Right. So that's kind of how you work with QM in contact centres. It's going to save you a lot of time if you're not doing it already. Okay, so what I'll show you now is the speech analytics. Has anybody come across speech analytics before? Seen it working? Yeah. The way it works is what we're doing is we're going to index every single word and phrase that goes through the call recorder. So every time you use a mobile, every time you use your desktop extension, we're going to get that call and we're going to put what's called a phonetic engine looking at those calls, and it's going to build up an index of every word and phrase. So then if you want to look for a particular type of word, maybe, I don't know, complaint or a product, you're going to be able to search for every time that comment is made during a call. And when you link that back into things like QM, like we do, you can then say, I want to just do quality monitoring on all the times people call Redbox up about PCI compliance. It becomes really powerful. So at the moment, we just gather the data from the Mitel system. So what I've set up here is just a quick search. So it's an audio search on the word email addresses, origin data, which is our company, and where someone's mentioned payment. Okay, so I want to check that we're taking payments correctly, that we're stopping and starting when we should do. And I've got all these options here that I can do and say, was it spoken in a call? Was it not spoken in a call? Was it spoken in the first 20 seconds, the last 20 seconds? Whatever I want to configure. And then we get a relevance based on whether we thought it was accurate or not. So for different accents, we get different accuracy levels. Okay, so we get a Geordie, they don't speak perfect Queen's English, but we get around 90% accuracy with those guys, and then it builds up the accuracy, so you can begin to teach it whether that's the correct word and phrase. So I've already set it up. So what we've got here are the hits in the call. So just to prove I'm not fudging it. Okay. So we found origin data. If we move it on.
That's correct. If you just give me your email address.
Got our email address. To speed it up.
Bring up the online payment system, and we take the payment.
Okay. So it's really clever stuff, being able to find those calls and then being able to link them back to your metrics and say, so then you can say about your business how often people are calling you up about certain types of things, and being able to find the evidence quicker and save you a lot of time. So I think that was it from me. If anyone's got any specific questions about call recording or how you're recording at the moment,